Look at the people.
Can't be.
There's nobody.
Not up in the
down
trees.
there. There's nobody down there no more.
Have you ever found yourself in the dark inside a building, and suddenly you saw silhouettes and heard strange sounds that you couldn't explain? You probably attributed it to some supernatural activity, ghosts, demons, and so on. What if I told you that it might not have been anything supernatural, and that perhaps there is no supernatural world at all? You might argue that there are various devices capable of capturing ghosts, and there is plenty of evidence of the supernatural. Today, we will explore how reliable these pieces of evidence really are. Your brain can do strange things when you're scared or anticipating something, such as making you see or hear something that doesn't actually exist. Most supernatural occurrences can be explained in completely natural ways. Let's start with the eyes. Many ghost stories unfold at night or in some dark place, and that's probably not a coincidence. A little detour. Most of the people who watch my videos here are not subscribed. I would like to kindly ask you to subscribe here. It would greatly help me in improving the quality of my videos. Thank you. Many ghost sightings are brief glimpses of something at the edge of a person's field of vision. They then look closely, but suddenly there's nothing there. This kind of observation can likely be attributed to how human peripheral vision works. Your ability to detect colors and discern details significantly decreases at the edges of your field of vision. But your ability to detect movement actually increases. That's because the periphery of your retina has fewer cones, the light-detecting cells that excel in color and shape detection, and more rods, which are better at detecting motion. So, especially in low light and/or very eerie conditions, it's easy to perceive movement out of the corner of your eye without clearly identifying what is actually moving. Moreover, all your senses can be heightened when you're on edge, increasing the likelihood that otherwise mundane stimuli will scare you. So, if you catch something moving out of the corner of your eye only to find nothing unusual when you look, it probably wasn't a supernatural being. It's much more likely that the mechanics of your eye's structure made something ordinary look extraordinary. It's also very likely that when you imagine a silhouette standing in that dark corner across from you, your brain will actually show it to you. It's a kind of auto-suggestion. Certainly, you've seen some recordings of ghosts where you think, nobody could have done that, right? What does science say about it? The scientific explanation for recordings allegedly capturing a ghost usually involves examining natural phenomena, human behavior, and technical factors that may lead to the creation of such recordings. There is no scientific evidence of the existence of ghosts, and most recordings presented as evidence are likely explainable by other, non-paranormal factors. The majority of evidence is simply deception. Whether the goal of these videos is to create an impression of supernatural events or to generate viral content for visibility or financial gain. If it's not a fraudulent video, in most cases, it has one of these explanations. Digital artifacts. During video compression, digital artifacts may occur, which can be interpreted as unusual phenomena. These artifacts can be caused by low resolution, data compression, poor lighting conditions, or other technical factors. Optical illusions. Lighting conditions and shadows in the scene can create optical illusions, giving the impression of the presence of figures or shapes that don't actually exist. Post-production. Some videos may be edited using graphic programs or special effects to create the impression of paranormal activity. Video processing errors. Processing errors. During video editing can lead to unusual phenomena on the screen. Psychological influence, beliefs or expectations about supernatural phenomena can influence how people interpret the content of the video. Psychological factors can play a role in how recordings are perceived. Video quality. You've surely noticed that the overwhelming majority of videos capturing ghosts have terrible quality. But why? Even the cheapest cameras, phones nowadays, have at least HD quality. One reason could be that in videos with lower quality, it's harder to recognize that the recording is a hoax. One of the most common devices in a paranormal investigator's toolkit is the sound recorder, EVP recorder. It captures the phenomenon of electronic voice. It works by placing it in the space, pressing the record button and asking questions like, "Is anyone here?" or "Are you alone?" and so on. If you're lucky, a ghost might seem to respond, or not. The answers you hear, however, are not generated by a ghost, but by your brain. Our brain tries to find familiar patterns in the unknown. This phenomenon is called pareidolia. It happens because the brains of our primates evolved to quickly recognize each other, and this ability comes with a side effect of recognizing familiar forms in otherwise random patterns. It turns out it's not just a visual matter. We are so wired to recognize other people that we often hear human voices that aren't actually there. This is known as audio pareidolia. It explains why you hear human voices in the static noise from the radio, or when someone says your name while blowing wind. Your brain simply tries to make sense out of nonsense. Add a bit of wishful thinking as you try to hear words from the other side, and you end up with a full-fledged, eerie response. And the power of suggestion can even alter what we hear. As we explained when talking about auditory illusions, there are many factors that can influence how your brain interprets ambiguous sounds. Experiments with white noise and human speech have shown that if subjects are given context beforehand, their interpretation of the recording tends to match their preconceived expectations, even if the provided context is intentionally incorrect. What if I told you I was recording an old asylum yesterday, where it's said to be haunted, and I recorded this? What do you hear? Get out? Or 8 cows? Interesting, right? It was just some random noise to which I added context for you, so you heard what I put into context. You might be thinking that this surely didn't convince you, and there are other devices that definitely work. Let's move on to another well-known device, the EMF detector. Another device that no serious investigator of paranormal phenomena can do without is an EMF detector. EMF, of course, stands for electromagnetic field, the area of radiation surrounding flowing electric currents. These fields can occur naturally or emanate from electronics, and their frequencies vary. Now, paranormal investigators will tell you that EMF detectors track ghosts because their immaterial forms generate EMF. But some scientists think it's the exact opposite, because we can emit EMF, especially when we're scared. A moment ago, we mentioned that some spooky stories can be explained by the phenomenon of infrasound. These are sound waves with frequencies below the normal human range of hearing. And even though you can't hear them, they still cause things in your body to vibrate a bit, just like other sound waves, leading to everything from a feeling of being watched to direct sightings of apparitions. EMFs can be similar, but instead of vibrating our bodies, they mess with our neurons. Laboratory studies have shown that low-frequency EMF can disrupt our mood or cause other negative psychological effects when applied to areas of the brain. The effects can be several times stronger when hallucinations are involved. Consequently, each person may react differently. For example, relatively short bursts of EMFs from an alarm clock were enough for one patient to experience hallucinations of nocturnal visitors in her bedroom. However, it turned out that the magnetic impulses generated by the alarm clock were similar to those that can induce seizures in some people. In this case, there was a specific interaction between the alarm clock's EMP and the patient's existing brain injury. Because these fields can have such strong psychological effects, some scientists believe that the ubiquitous EMFs of the modern era are responsible for many, if not most, eerie experiences. But even if the alarm clock was silly, definitively tracing the sources of EMFs during every scare isn't so simple. EMPs can come from many sources, including almost all electronic devices, so with all the Wi-Fi and smartphones and such, It's nearly impossible nowadays to precisely isolate and assess the effects of specific electromagnetic signals. This could also be a reason why people in the past weren't as afraid of supernatural things and didn't account for things like God and so on. So, what then? Does it mean that supernatural beings don't exist? No. We just need to be more cautious about what we label as supernatural. Our brain plays a game with us, trying to convince us that there is something there that isn't really. Personally, I'm quite skeptical when it comes to paranormal phenomena. I don't believe in it much. However, when I find myself in an abandoned, spooky building at night, I start to become more open to the idea of paranormal events. How about you? Do you believe in the supernatural? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe to see that you enjoy such content. See you in the next video.